Season 3 of Euphoria is about to drop, so yeah, it is time to run it back and remember everything that went down before, because this story is not just drama, it is chaos, addiction, love, manipulation, betrayal, and decisions that almost never end well. Listen real close, you are gonna love this story. Fights, betrayal, revenge, love, chaos, everything you want is in here, and it only gets worse the deeper you go into it. It has been a minute since Euphoria last left its characters completely broken, and now with Season 3 coming, and trailers already teasing big changes, this is the perfect time to go back and look at everything that happened before across 2 seasons, and special episodes. Euphoria follows Rue and the people around her, and it is not pretty. Addiction, grief, toxic relationships, manipulation, bad decisions. Everything is there, and most of the time things do not end well. So if you need a refresher before Season 3 drops, here are the key things you need to remember. Season 1 starts with Rue, a teenager fresh out of rehab after an overdose, but right away you can see she is already slipping back into her old habits. Her life is controlled by addiction, mental health struggles, and the constant pain of losing her father from the start. It is clear staying clean is not her priority. Then she meets Jules, the new girl. They meet at a party, connect instantly, even end up sleeping in the same bed that night, and after that they become inseparable. Around them you have the whole East Highland world, Nate and Maddie in a toxic relationship, Kat trying to build confidence through webcam work, and Cassie dealing with how people see her. Nate is behind a lot of the chaos early on. He catfishes Jules using a fake identity, then blackmails her with explicit photos to protect his father Cal, who had a relationship with her. At the same time, Nate violently assaults Tyler and forces him to confess to a crime he did not commit. Control and intimidation become his pattern. Then comes the winter formal. Everything collides. Cassie secretly has an abortion. Maddie and Nate keep going back and forth, and Rue confronts Nate, threatening to expose him and his father. Rue and Jules plan to leave town together that night, but when the moment comes, Rue backs out, Jules gets on the train alone, and Rue goes back home and relapses. Season 2 starts with Rue still using, but now she is hiding it. She keeps her relationship with Jules while getting close to Elliot, another addict. Instead of helping each other, Rue and Elliot push each other deeper into addiction, and Jules starts noticing something is off. Things get worse when Rue convinces Lori to front her a suitcase full of drugs to sell, but instead of selling them, she uses them. So now she is in serious danger when her mom finds the suitcase and gets rid of it. Rue is left with a massive debt to Lori, and just like that, everything falls apart. Rue goes into withdrawal and completely loses control, one of the most intense moments in the show. She lashes out at her family, exposes secrets, even reveals Cassie and Nate relationship to Maddie, then runs from the police through neighborhoods before ending up at Lori Place. She manages to escape the next morning, but the threat is still there. At the same time, Cassie starts secretly dating Nate after meeting him on New Year. Their relationship gets intense fast, and Cassie becomes dependent on his approval. When Maddie finds out, their confrontation ends their friendship completely. Then there is Fez. His story runs alongside everything else after Mouse death pressure builds from both police and drug dealers. In the final episode, a police raid at his house turns into a shootout. Ashtray kills someone before being killed, and Fez gets arrested before reaching Lexi play. That play becomes a major moment. Lexi puts her life and everyone around her on stage, showing their secrets in front of the entire school. It leads to confrontations, especially involving Cassie and Nate, forcing people to see themselves differently. By putting on that play, Lexi goes from observer to controlling the narrative. By the end of the season, Rue starts rebuilding. She says she stayed sober until the end of the school year, but her long-term stability is still uncertain. Even with everything happening, Rue remains the emotional center, but she also admits she is not always a reliable narrator. Throughout the series, she goes between relapse denial and attempts to recover. Her relationship with Ali becomes more important especially after their deep conversation about surviving and staying sober. Season 2 pushes her to the edge, almost destroying every relationship before she tries to fix things. Her sobriety at the end is a step forward, but not a resolution. Her relationship with Jules is one of the most important, but unstable. Rue feelings are intense and tied to emotional dependence, while Jules struggles with that pressure. Jules' experiences with Nate and Cal shape much of her story, especially in Season 1. In Season 2, things get worse because Rue hides her drug use while continuing with Elliot. When Elliot reveals the truth, their relationship breaks. By the end, there is still emotion between them, but no real resolution. Nate continues affecting almost everyone. His actions are driven by control violence. And his relationship with his father, he manipulates situations, avoids consequences, and even when he seems right, there is usually a darker reason. Fez's role grows a lot. His connection with Rue stays important, but his relationship with Lexi shows a softer side. But his story ends brutally with the police raid, and everything that follows. Lexi play becomes central, forcing everyone to confront themselves. Cassie breaks down, Nate reacts, and everything turns chaotic. Cassie and Nate's relationship becomes a main conflict. She changes herself to match what she thinks he wants. Meanwhile, Maddie is still emotionally tied to Nate, and when she finds out, everything explodes. The consequences last throughout the season. Now with Season 3 coming and hype growing, it is clear this next chapter will be huge. Unlike typical teen shows, Euphoria deals with real issues, addiction, mental health pressure, and relationships without making them look pretty. Zendaya said the show is not here to tell people how to live, but to make them feel less alone. Season 3 includes a 5-year time jump, and from the trailer, things are not calm at all. We see Rue possibly involved in drug trafficking and tension with Lori again. She even says someone tried to kill her. Cassie appears in a wedding dress, but the vibe is not peaceful, and the dynamic with Nate and Maddie is still active. Cassie reminds Maddie they used to be best friends, showing how deep that conflict still goes. In Season 3, everything feels shifted, like the world moved forward, but the damage stayed the same. Rue is no longer just struggling, she is surviving in a completely different environment, where every decision has bigger consequences, and every relationship feels heavier than before. Nothing is simple anymore in her world. The time jump changes everything because the characters are older but not necessarily better. Nate, Cassie, Maddie, Rue, all of them are carrying what happened before, like it never left them, and now they are forced to face the results of choices they made when they were younger and more chaotic, without thinking about the future. And that is what makes this season feel different. It is not just about drama anymore, it is about consequences. Real ones, the kind you cannot ignore or run from. Because now everything from the past is coming back in ways nobody is ready for, and every character is about to be tested again in a much darker way. Now with Season 3 coming and hype growing, it is clear this next chapter will be huge. Unlike typical teen shows, Euphoria deals with real issues, addiction, mental health pressure, and relationships without making them look pretty. Zendaya said the show is not here to tell people how to live, but to make them feel less alone. Season 3 includes a 5-year time jump, and from the trailer, things are not calm at all. We see Rue possibly involved in drug trafficking and tension with Lori again. She even says someone tried to kill her. Cassie appears in a wedding dress, but the vibe is not peaceful, and the dynamic with Nate and Maddie is still active. Cassie reminds Maddie they used to be best friends, showing how deep that conflict still goes. And Nate is still the same, controlling, dangerous, unpredictable. In a few days, we will finally see where all of this goes. So now the real question is, what do you think will happen next?